Welcome to Professor's Garage. Today, we have a 2013 Nissan Altima 184,928, so over 180,000 miles. Open the hood. Today we have 3 maintenance items and we'll go top down. We'll start with spark plug replacement and then we'll go down and check up the engine to join oil and do oil change. And after that, we are going to do the most tricky job, which is CVT fluid replacement. So let's get started. For the spark plug replacement, make sure your car is on ground and you engage the parking brake so it doesn't move. And now we are going to tackle the spark plugs. For spark plugs, these are the OE plugs. You can get them from Nissan, which will be much more expensive. Do not get those value advantage spark plugs. Those can probably last 30,000 miles. Remember, this is 184,000 miles. Amazing how the factory plugs will last. And so we are going to use the same factory plugs. But you do not have to get those from Nissan. They are manufactured by NGK, so just get them from NGK with the iridium plugs. These are the same as the factory ones. Now to remove the engine cover, you need to take off the 3 nuts. And very interesting that these 3 nuts are different. This one is 8mm, and these 2, I believe, are hex H5. So we are going to take them off anyway. I don't think they are factory. I wonder what happened. Because they are different sizes, maybe they are. So 8mm, number 5 hex. Now, should be easy to remove the cover. Pull it up. Pull it up from the back, actually. There's a grommet here that goes into a stud. 2 important notes before you proceeding to replace the plugs. First one, make sure the engine is cold when you do the replacement because otherwise your torque, your tightening may not be accurate. The second tip, before you take anything off, it's critical to make sure it's dust free. You do not want to risk the engine by introducing anything into the cylinder. First, we need to disconnect the coil connectors. Looks like 1 coil pack has been replaced. This looks new. So to remove the connector, simply press the tab and then remove it. When you depress the tab, you'll hear a clicking sound. Hear that? And then pull to remove it. Very simple. But sometimes, with the engine heat and so many miles on it, this can get stuck. So take your time. And let me show you a trick. So in case the tab is stubborn and difficult to press, you can use a small tool to depress it with one hand. So this will give you the leverage. Depress it and then use the other to pull it out. These are actually quite easy, so I don't need the tool. And then pull it. Just pull it out. So the coil packs are disconnected. Now we can remove the bolts securing the coil packs. And working on Japanese vehicles, you always need a 10mm. So take the bolts off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's remove the coil packs. This should be easy because I think it's new, relatively. There's some oil on it, so we'll see. Hopefully the spark is okay. Second coil pack, also very easy to remove. There's always some grease or oil. Yeah, the third one is much better. It's dry. Excellent. And then the last one. Also dry. Good. Again, make it dust free. So before you remove the spark plugs, just blow each spark plug well. This is the plug removal tool on this Nissan engine. It's a 14mm socket. You can get a 12-point or 6-point. I'm using a 12-point because this is the same socket I use on BMW, which requires a 12-point thin wall socket. You probably can use a 6-point socket. I will double check, but it's a 14mm plus a 6-inch extension that will give you access to the spark plug inside. So put it in. Of course, if it's longer, that's okay. You have all the space. The beauty of working on a 4-cylinder engine is that you have all the space to work on it. It's more tolerant of the different type of tools that you have. I'll first try a 3/8 drive ratchet. It wasn't over torque or seized because of the age. I think this is the new, so that's why. We'll see what happened to the other ones. And now we can disengage it. Just simply use finger if possible to speed up the process. Okay, so we'll take it out. There are spring leaves inside to grab the spark plug out. So you can either use a magnetic removal tool, a socket, or something with this design. So this is the spark plug. Oh no. There's a huge amount of oil in here. So I think there's probably gasket leak that we need to address in the future. So very likely we're going to open the valve cover up to replace the seals. The spark plug itself, this is new, I believe, is actually quite dry, and I think it's NGK, yeah. So whoever did the replacement did the right thing with the OE spark plug. Also iridium. It's the same plug that we are using today. I hope you can see, right? There's quite a bit of oil in the well. So that is number 1 to number 2. And I want you to take a look before I replace it. So this still has a little bit of grease in there, but not as bad as the first one. And then let's look at the third one. I think it's quite dry. This one is good. And number 4. Some grease somewhere, but I think it looks okay to me. So those are the plugs in there. Again, make sure it's well seated before you turn it, right? You do not want to break anything. Make sure it's engaged and then try to, yeah, this is much tighter. And number 2 plug. Looking good. Again, there's always a little bit of grease here, oil, so I think the grommets, the gaskets are aged. This is 12 years later, and it's time to replace the seals too. On to number 3, fully seated. Ooh, this is tighter. And number 3. If these are indeed 180,000 miles, they did a fantastic job. Unbelievable. Now number 4. Let's see. Again, when you hold the socket and the extension, make sure it's upright, especially when you turn it. Initially, you don't want to break anything. Make sure it's in the upright position. Yeah. You see, these can be turned with fingers. So when you put new plugs in, make sure you also start the thread with fingers first. Don't use power tool. If you cross thread it, it's going to be really troublesome. Very good, impressive. Take a look at what we have removed so far. The coil packs, the spark plugs. This is the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the first one has a bit more oil, both on the thread but also outside, right? This is where the coil engage the spark plug. And you're going to basically, when you put it in, it's like in here. So we are also going to apply some dielectric grease around this area to seal this better. but not on here because this requires very solid connection. You don't want to apply dielectric grease on the tip here. It's wrong. But a little bit around the sealing or seating surface is good. Before I put the new plugs in, I would like to use a borescope to examine inside of the well and the cylinder, each one of those, and take some pictures. I will start with the last one. Let's turn it on, and let's get this in, and I will take some pictures along the way. This will actually give us a clear view of what's inside. And then I should be able to turn. Oh, it looks... This tool is very nice because you have the 360 control. You can look around in the cylinder. And this cylinder is still looking good. No misfire, no nothing. And the fuel trims are great. Well within 5%. So it's not running lean or running rich. And so I'm not really concerned. But we can take some pictures. Some carbon buildup, but it's normal, 12 years. So on the borescope, it also shows clearly there's quite a bit of oil even in cylinder number 2. And the surface actually looks quite shiny. They may have used some products to clean it. Interesting, cool. Second cylinder, and I think the first cylinder probably is more greasy, oily, right? There is oil. See the oil? Yeah. And then there's quite a bit of oil here. I do need to use a vacuum to clean it before I put the new plug back. This one has more carbon, as I can tell. Look around a little bit. Yeah. Not as much clearance to look around. I think we get an idea. Not bad for 180K engine. Okay. I'm going to use a vacuum to suck debris out, but because this tip is too large to go inside the well, just fit a small diameter tube like this, and then wrap around it. To seal it, put this inside to suck any remaining debris or dust out. Now we are ready to put the new plug in. This is the port from NGK, the port number. We know we got the correct ports, but just to make sure, it's not a bad idea to compare the spark plugs. This is an old one, and this is a new one now. This paper tube, if you have this, it's pre-gap, so you do not need to gap the spark plug. Now, traditionally, you need to use a gap tool like this to measure the gap and adjust if necessary according to spec. But this is pre-gap. I'm going to trust it from the factory, and I'm not going to use this because there's a risk. It's iridium. There's a risk that you can damage the iridium coating. The exact same manufacturer, and even the numbers, iridium the same, the numbers are exactly the same, so these are the same plugs. We have the confidence they will last another 100,000 miles. The old is out, and the new is in. So again, put this into the socket, either with a magnet or with the spring leaves to grab it. It doesn't fall. This is just a good tool to help you with this task. And then you want to put this in, go upright or straight down, and then you should be able to use your fingers to stop the thread. Don't use anything else, not even a ratchet. Okay, it stops. That's it. We'll put all the 4 in and then tighten them to spec. Cylinder number 3. Once it starts, and if you feel there's a bit too much resistance to your fingers, you can start to use the ratchet. At this point, it should be safe once the thread has started. Okay, it's there. Good. Cylinder number 2. Cylinder number 2. This is easy because of the grease, but the oil is never good for the spark plug well. So we need to seal it. And finally, cylinder number 1. The 4 spark plugs are all in. Now we are going to tighten them down to spec. It's 19 Newton meter, 168 inch-pounds or 14 pound-feet of torque. Only use this very small torque range because it doesn't require a lot of torque. It's hand tight only. And because of the grease, I think it's easy to over torque. So I'm actually going to do the other ones first. It's okay. See? Okay. So this is very light. Right? It actually doesn't require a lot of torque. If you don't know, okay, if you don't have a torque wrench like this, you can use a small ratchet like this. Use your finger to pull it. Don't even use your hand. And so that is number 4, number 3 are done. Number 2. Good. And then number 1. Great. And let's double check the other 2 just to make sure. Good. Great. Okay, done. Before we put the coil pack in, it's also not a bad idea to do some cleaning, especially around the tip. If this is new coil pack, you can just put it in, no problem. If it's old and you want to reuse, do put some dielectric grease here around this area. Do not put on the tip of the spark plug because for that you need very solid connection. You do not want to apply dielectric grease on the electrical contact, but only on the seal here. This is just to create a better seal, and also it will be easier to remove next time with that grease. So this is the dielectric grease, and we are going to just apply a little bit, just a little bit. If you just have a less than a pin size, should be enough. And then you just apply around this area. You can use a cotton tip just to apply it more evenly. Okay, just around this area, it's good enough. Okay, just a little bit. You don't need a lot. Now I'm going to put the coil pack back in. Go straight down and align the hole. Okay, and then now it's also time to put this connector back on. If you want, but just push it in, and you should hear the click. Okay, and now we can fasten that coil pack. So this is a screw fastener. Just hand thread it. Make sure it's lined up. And a 10mm socket. Okay. You simply can just use your hand or fingers to tighten it. It's less than finger tight. Okay, and this is enough to hold this in place. You don't need a lot of torque in there. Mm-hmm. Good. Four spark plugs are in, coil packs are in, and tighten to spec. Moment of truth. Let's start the car. It starts right up. Sounds just fine. But let's also look at the dash to see if there's anything unusual. I believe that warning sign is just because the door is open. Nothing on the dash, which is great. And let it run for a couple of minutes so let it idle and we can observe. The engine is doing just fine. No unusual noise. 185,000 miles. The engine is still doing great, except for the oil leak. And there you have it. Spark plug replacement on the Nissan Altima 2.5L 4-cylinder engine. The engine runs beautifully after this service. But if you know Nissan, the real elephant in the room is the CVT transmission. At 185,000 miles, Does it still hold up? Has it been serviced? Should you touch it or leave it alone until it quits? Stay tuned, because we'll dig into those questions in the next video. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to Professor's Garage. Remember, if Professor can do it, you can do it. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and give you peace. 平安。